So I'm Brock Palin. I'm the Director of Advanced Research Computing at the University of Michigan. At Michigan, we're the largest public research university in North America by research spend, and we have over 100 top 10 graduate programs. This drives a lot of interesting collaborations and other things, but we've been using Globus since it was called Globus Online, didn't have any of the functionality it has today, and basically just moved bits from point A to point B. And that was actually the primary challenge that we had. We had some of the best networking of any institution could want, and we still do. We've recently made an investment to go to terabit scale networking. And the traditional protocols and methods that people would find to move around data could not leverage the performance of that. And it caused data to generally be stranded. Just the cost of getting data from point A to point B to take advantage of compute or data at another location to combine data together was pretty much not doable using traditional methods. And the underlying technology, Grid FTP, is pretty much ubiquitous across all the academic institutions and worked really well. But one thing that specifically worked, that is necessary to have this work, that's important for us, is the integration with an identity management system, specifically the In-Common Federation, which pretty much all academic institutions participate in effectively. And by able to use our existing identity provider, it solved a lot of our issues around identity, compliance, and other things that other tools would have required a bunch of groups and stuff like that. So where are we trying to go from here? Globus is our recommended data transfer tool. Again, it's pretty much ubiquitous across Internet 2, the national sites, other academic sites, and thus it interoperates everywhere. It can leverage the performance of the networks we're doing, and it integrates with the identities that we have for those security things. But the networks are only getting faster, the data volumes are only getting bigger. There's also a challenge of changes in the economics of the storage market and changes in the economics of our ability to generate data. So we're currently evaluating Globus flows to be able to automate a number of workflows for high volume data generation in the lab. So to avoid having to have significant network investments, we want to move from a stock of data. By that we mean you build up a big pile of data and now you're going to move to the next step of your process. And we want it to be a flow. We want to have smaller network connections at higher average utilization, and by using flows to be able to, as soon as data is generated in the lab, immediately transfer it, immediately archive it to protect it, immediately use something like FunkX to run a job. And again, everything being hooked into the identity provider. I can't stress the identity provider integration enough. The usual tricks of SSH keys to trigger stuff doesn't fly in a modern compliance world. With two-factor authentication, having scoped access control with your campus identity provider is just extremely helpful for realizing this, because this will allow us to minimize the amount of storage, especially high performance and thus high cost active storage at any individual step, either data collection in the lab, scratch space, primary NAS, to get as much data moving to archive as possible and having it be part of our data lifecycle management. And to do that, we need the performance, we need the identity integration, we need the automation, we need the modern scriptability from anywhere in the world. And that's basically what we're looking at doing next. So if you can't tell, one of the things we like about Globus the most really is the identity integration. No need to talk about compliance or other things if you're just using the existing identity that we all have on our campuses to be able to move things around. And then the performance, because there's other tools that can bring the performance, there's other tools that can bring automation and workflow, but they have their own issues around identity and other things like that, and just how well adopted across the rest of the institutions have been, so that we can have this interoperability across national sites, international sites, and others.